This is a letter to teachers and therapists of trans identifying kids. I am writing you this letter and hoping that you will listen because you are instrumental in this. You can either be a force of evil or good in this fight. You have your hands on the minds of impressionable young people during a time in which they are growing and learning about themselves and the world. Addressing both parties first, I will say that you need to be kind. I hope that this is obvious, but it is worth saying. It is more important to say, however, that it is not kindness to affirm a delusion. It is not love to convince a child that they were born in the wrong body. There is also a very big difference between affirmation and validation. Children need and deserve validation. It is really hard to be a child, particularly a teenager, and being a mentally ill one is one of the hardest things I have ever done. I think that if someone had seen my pain and told me that it was real and that I was not alone with it, instead of convincing me that it needed to be medicalized, I would have been better off. I fell victim to two social contagions, pro Anna and trans. But the difference between these two is that the adults around me were affirming my trans beliefs. They agreed with me, for the most part, that I was born in the wrong body. They used wrong sex pronouns and a different name for me, and as a person who already struggled with delusions, this was insane. You need a way to combat the love bombing. This is a cult tactic used by the trans community to affirm children right down the assembly line to hormones and surgery. They are praised and worshipped every step of the way, and this can be incredibly addicting. This brings me to validation once again. If children are validated in their suffering and offered tools with which to deal with their very real problems, they won't need affirmation. I have another point to make, and this might not sound as nice as my previous points, but it needs to be said. Why do you feel the right to talk to children or anyone about their trans identity after the trans community has worked so hard to take transgenderism out of the DSM? Apparently, it is not a mental illness, so how are you able to counsel on it? If a child comes to you for therapy about their trans identity, I recommend you redirect. Say you are able to talk to them about their anxiety or depression or panic attacks or whatever it may be, but not that. This is also a way to get around the conversion therapy aspect of it. If you don't talk to them about it because you are a school counselor or therapist, and being trans is not a mental illness, you don't have to affirm them, but you also aren't giving them conversion therapy. Either way, love and validate children, but don't affirm mental illness.